Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited today because we got the official version of The Phantom of the Opera by Nightwish with Henk Poort. So that's one I think everybody has been really waiting for, and I did a reaction. I'm gonna leave it there from a fan cam, but today we got finally the official version. So that's what we're doing. And look, when I saw it, I just couldn't resist. I just opened OBS. I don't even have makeup on, which I don't think there's a single video on the channel where I don't wear makeup. Well, this is me. Hi. Yeah, let's just go for it, really. Smile. Do I dream again? For now I find the phantom of the opera is there. Nice. All right, I just want to comment really quickly on her sound in this, because actually, it's surprising because I mean, we couldn't really hear from the fan cam super well. And also I know that these performances, when they're official versions, they're also edited. And that's just a normal thing that we all do, so no problem there. But what I want to comment on really is the texture of her voice, because she's going a lot more round and kind of operatic style than I remember her doing in previous versions, and it's kind of pretty. I feel though she has this very oh type of shape, and I mean, that's just a thing. I think it's interesting, but it's my favorite part is when she's going back into something that she's doing maybe a little bit more often, that's a little bit more theatrical, and it's kind of the end of the phrase. I'm gonna replay it, and I'll point out where I mean, and we're just gonna keep going. Super round here, and there she changes the tone. And this is a little bit more natural and less round than the beginning.
Sing once again with me a strange duet. My power over you.
Oh my god, yeah, okay.
Grows stronger yet. Although you turn to me and glance behind, the phantom of the opera is there inside your mind.
Nice. Okay, I want to pause here because if you've watched the fan camera, which the link is going to be in the cards right there, it's the same performance, although you can tell that in they edited his performance so that it would be on time, because in the other version, Henk Poort probably either missed a cue, and by all means, I'm telling you guys, on stage, sometimes it's very difficult to hear the timing, or if the in-ears are not working properly, and so it's I 100% understand how these mistakes can happen, and I so feel, and I'm so glad that they managed to sort of like fix it, quote unquote, in this performance. It's great that they managed to put it together in this way, because this just happens. And well, of course, it's much nicer to hear it as it was intended to, rather than with the offbeat situation. And I think after this point, Henk Poort caught up and was able to get the monitoring fixed or something. But it's just like something to point out, that if you listen to the fan cam and you listen to the final performance, the official one that they did here, there's clearly a difference of timing in when he comes in. And I only can tell that because I've watched the other version, and there's definitely a timing difference. So if you're interested, I really recommend you compare those two versions, because I think it's something we're not talking about enough when it comes to live performances and live videos, and it is that performances are being edited, and that's just part of it. And by all means, I do not think that this is necessarily a bad thing. I think this is a good thing. And we're using the tools that we have to create music that sounds as good as we can to some extent. Whether something is too much or not enough, or is all a matter of taste, I think, and all a matter of what we are expecting as consumers of music, really. So I'm just putting it out there because that's a thing, and it happens. And this is a really good example of how we are editing music so that it's, I'll say, like, nicer to listen to, I guess, or it's like more clean, or it's more as intended. And fortunately, we can fix those mistakes in post-production. It is just a thing, right? And that does not remove anything, I think, from the artists and their competence and their skills, because everybody here are clearly very skilled musicians, and mistakes on stage happen. So I'm glad that they managed to fix it in a way that makes it feel very natural as well. And it's kind of awesome that we can do that in the first place. So just putting it out there. Like in this, I feel that Floor is a little bit less round than she was in the beginning. So she's going for a style, or like some, not necessarily a style, because a style is like a bit maybe a broader term, but she's going for like a tone that is a little bit less round, a little bit less operatic, but she's still kind of playing in that line. And then sometimes she's using different tones, especially on There, I think. Was it that? I'll rewind in a second to show you what I mean. But yeah, she's kind of playing with tone, and I think that it has a very like dramatic and interesting impact. And that's the kind of stuff that I also personally really like to do. I really like to use tones to kind of, when I sing, to, I don't know, like have, like put more interesting components or more theatrical, dramatic components to the music, and that's what she does. And yeah, so, by the way, I do have a version of Phantom of the Opera that I did. I'll put it in the cards in case you're interested. I made a cover as well. I'll rewind it a little bit. Yes, there. Inside your mind. And back to her normal kind of sound quality.
Ain't all your fantasies, you always know that man and misery were both in you, and in I love you.
Oh my god, this is so wholesome. Honestly, like I think that my favorite thing about this performance is like of course the musical performance in of itself is great. We already know that, and I think I've commented on that during the performance as well. But what I want to say is like the how both of them are on stage together is so wholesome, and that like big hug at the end, and I don't know. There's something I don't really know what word I want to use for that exactly, but you can kind of tell that Henk Poort is really like he's really enjoying himself on stage and he's having fun and he's like because I don't think he's used to, you know, being backed by a metal band and he's just kind of you can kind of see it in his face and like in his body language and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm here. Let's have fun." Like there's this kind of like childlike like a rush you can see in him, and I just think it's like really wholesome and really adorable to see him like that, and just both of them together singing, like their voices, they just fit so well together. So anyways, that was a lovely performance. It was really awesome. When it comes to like the ending with Floor, technically I think this sounded very, very good, as usual. Although I'd be really, really interested in going back to the fan cam performance and kind of like noticing the differences between the edited version and the non-edited version, and because I don't fully remember, but what we heard there was pretty solid and sounded really amazing. So, but I'd just be curious, just for like its own like curiosity's sake, you know, I'd be just curious to see the differences. But yeah, just that's what we love about live music. Even if, you know, those performances are still going to be edited, I find that there's something really still interesting, like the fact that we can see them act on stage and really have fun, and knowing that even if there's like mistakes, they don't have to worry too much about it. They can just like have fun on stage, and that's what we saw. And I think that at the end of the day, is that not what is the most important, is that we get to see people being people on stage, you know? I don't know, tell me if that makes sense. Tell me if you agree or if you disagree, or if you have thoughts about that, thoughts about maybe editing in music, how you feel about it. If you would rather have performances that are always completely unedited, or if you're okay with a little bit of editing. And I'm just curious about your thoughts, you know, because I just think it's a topic we don't talk about enough and that people are not super aware of. So let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? And let's have a discussion. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in listening to my music, because I'm also a musician, singer, and a harpist, and I have my music, I'll put it in the cards right there, and I have a free song as well, link in the comments. So, thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye!